All right, welcome back to Bayou Town. We have a star-studded guest appearance by everybody up here today, and the CASA event is coming soon. And we have Buddy McNabb, who's a board member and a volunteer, I should say too, right?
And
volunteer first, right? And we have Miss Christine Oquin, the executive director of CASA of Terrebonne, who's also executive director of the year. We'll get into that a little later, but congratulations, that's fantastic. And one of our favorites, Anna Merlos, on the end over there, the office manager and marketing coordinator for CASA of Terrebonne. So thank you all for coming. Anna, let me start with you because we'll talk about the event first because the event sort of feeds everything else. But got a nice event coming up, and tell us about it.
August 11th, here at HTV, we're having Pairings for a Purpose. This is our second annual event. It's our one fundraiser that we throw a year. And we always say that it takes a community for CASA to be able to run. And we kind of wanted to showcase that in our fundraising event. So it's called Pairings with a Purpose. We have 7 local food vendors, and they will be pairing with cocktails, mostly from Bayou Terrebonne distillers. Mm-hmm. And you'll get a tasting for $75. You get a tasting and from the local food vendors and a cocktail. And we'll have a live auction. We'll have music from King Breakers Light. And it's going to be a fun event. Last year it was at Bayou Terrebonne Distillers, and we want to just highlight local talent that we have here in Houma.
All right, very good. So let me come to Christine, because Christine, a lot of these proceeds that y'all get help you maintain and run some of the programs that you all do. So once you get the funds and they come in, where do they go?
Well, the funds have to make up every year for the shortfall. We have our main funder is Louisiana Supreme Court. It comes through federal and state funding, but there's always a shortfall in our budget, and so probably 30 or 40% has to come from the community and fundraising events. This will fund operating expenses, just general operating expenses. We have expenses of training the volunteers and also outreach events, recruitment events, and a lot of it is geared around the volunteers that we have, the core volunteers that we have, and what national requires for us to do in order to have them prepared to advocate for these children.
And I think most people wouldn't realize how much work goes into an organization like this. And so it does take funds, but it does take a lot of volunteers and a lot of people helping. Like your husband, Nathan, you recruited him in, right?
He did. He finally said yes, and we got him trained up, and so he's actually on a case right now. So he's doing very well, along with all the volunteers. I do have a little bit of statistics. We have 38 active volunteers that are on 66 children. So there's 66 children in foster care in Terrebonne Parish that have a CASA advocate. There's over 181 children on our waiting list. And so we're only serving 26% of the foster care population. Right. So all of this fundraising, all these events, all goes back to we're trying to get more volunteers in the door in order to get these children served.
Speaking of volunteers, Buddy McNabb up here now, and Buddy's also always been a part of it, as far as I can remember. And what's it like to be a board member and a volunteer at CASA?
They at one point they discouraged it just a little, only being that the board members naturally make decisions over the advocate supervisors, and now you have, as a volunteer, you work under the advocate. Right. So they all know me well enough that I take my spankings if I need one, right? But I tell you, going from the board to being a volunteer, and I loved being on the board. The board does the fundraising more than anything else, right? I was always out asking people to be a volunteer. Please be and someone said one day, "Why aren't you?" I said, "Well, we're not supposed to. I'm on the board." But then I thought about it. I said, "Ask Christine." She goes, "Well, there's no law against it." They just said, generally sometimes it could cause some hassles. So I said, no, that's it. I'm going to be a volunteer. So I took the classes. They're very simple, by the way. Easy to be a volunteer. We do the training. There's no calculus or history or grammar on these trainings, right? It's just about dealing with people a little bit.
But that explains why you're on the
There you go. There you go. That's right. So I took it, and I can't tell you how fulfilling it is to be the volunteer. I mean it with all my heart. That is the best part. And I have 3 cases right now. We only ask people to take 1. Mm-hmm. I love going out and being there for a child, and that's all we do. We check on their welfare. You could put in 4 to 5 hours a month and make sure that child is being cared for properly, that they have all their educational needs, all their medical needs. You just kind of check up on things. They usually end up in a good foster home, makes it kind of easier for you. But sometimes they go through several foster homes. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, you become the one face that they're used to seeing, because no matter where they go, you go visit them there, so.
Yeah, you got to find out reasons. And as we go to the break, let me go back to Christine. Such a big award you won this year. How did it make you feel that you won that on a statewide level?
Well, it was pretty special because, first of all, it was a big surprise. I didn't realize that my staff and one of the judges had nominated me. And then when they found out that I won, they didn't tell me until the night of the event. So it was special and surprising.
We almost all got fired. It was fun.
It was, yeah, it was. But,
You almost got fired and rehired in the same.
it was very special and very rewarding because this is rewarding work.
Well,
And
well
it's-
deserved. All right, what
Thank
we'll
you
do,
so
we'll take a
much.
short break. We're going to come back. We'll have one more segment right here talking about a very important organization here in the area, CASA. We'll be right back. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. All right, welcome back. We're talking with CASA of Terrebonne, a very important need in our community that they feel as an organization. And with Ida and COVID, everything took a hit, but it's time to repercolate a little bit. So I'm gonna come to Buddy real quick, and it's time for the community to get going again. What can they do to help?
Our volunteer base fell drastically through all these bad events. I guess you can get it. It was bad on the community, but we're down to 38 volunteers. At one time, we had over 80, and it's something, again, 4 to 5 hours of your time per month. And you can make I promise you're going to make a kid's life better. It is very fulfilling. And please reach out to us. Now, CASA has, they're more than just one way. If you don't have time to be a volunteer, there are several other ways you can help us. So please go to casa.org, see what we're about. Don't be afraid to make a phone call. Come in, talk to us. All help is greatly appreciated.
And Christine, let me come back to you. I guess seeing the joy of what it does is the reward. It's not a big paycheck. It's not, Buddy's not getting rich on this, trust me. But it's the joy, isn't it?
It's and the payday candy, boy. Remember, you did get that after
I did
swearing
get a
in.
payday candy.
Yeah, and that's about the only pay you will get.
That's my bad.
But going back to my experience, I came to CASA as a volunteer. I started off as a volunteer, and I actually was on 2 different cases. I had a sibling case, and I had a 3-year-old little boy, and both of them ended up in good placements, and their cases ended. But in the meantime, I was there for those children. You see the joy on their faces. They recognize you. They're old enough, at least mine were. They were old enough to just see that she's coming back for me. She's coming back for me. And it was just for them and nothing else. We're volunteers. And we're just there for those kids to make sure while they're removed from their homes that their needs are still being met. You know, whether it's educational needs, medical needs, anything that they would get in a permanent placement, they need to be getting while they're still in state's custody. And so we're just kind of the eyes and ears, and we report back to the courts. There's no special education you need, like you're not taking calculus. And by the way, Buddy, I was actually the trainer before I was in this position, and he was in my first class, and that was really, really interesting. It was baptism by fire because Buddy was in that class. So it was.
Well, Buddy's always full of energy.
We had fun and
He
learned.
graduated
did.
with my brother, so I know the Buddy man.
Okay. And so, you know, we prepare you for this role. And like Anna said at the beginning, it is a community. The staff love to see the volunteers. We do volunteer events, appreciation events, just for them to come in and to form their own community. And then we're there for the kids. And so it's a special organization.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Christine. Anna, let's talk about the event itself. I know it doesn't happen without sponsors and restaurants, and so bring us through it.
Definitely. We would like to thank all our sponsors. We had the response for sponsorship was fast and it was quick, and we really appreciate it. We're going to have some really delicious food at this event. I'm kind of excited. We're going to have Hebert's Cafe. They're going to be making a shrimp stew that you can taste. And that's going to be paired with the Bayou Terrebonne Distillers Amos Moses, which is tea and lemonade and their contraband. We're going to have Dominique's Bistro. They're cooking a bolognese pasta, and that's going to be paired with a red wine. We have Downtown Joe fixing some sliders, and that's going to be paired with Bayou Terrebonne Distillers Watermelon Trawl. We have La Carreta making their ceviche, and they are going to be serving margaritas. And then we have Spickett's Brew Pub. They will be making their famous pretzels, and they will be serving their locally brewed beer. We have Luminaire Bistros and their crawfish pies. That's going to be served with Manny Fresh. And we have Michelle's Catering with their shrimp dip. And that's also going to be paired with a Manny Fresh from the Bayou Terrebonne Distillers.
Boy, y'all hitting a home run with that food. Let me tell you.
It's going to be good.
So
I'm hungry.
I ran into Tommy at breakfast the other day, and he goes, "Hey, look, I'm going to bring this pit up on your balcony with the fire and all that." Because Buddy knows that I'm going to say, I said, "Tommy, I think fire code, you're going to have to do that on the ground level." He goes, "Oh, it don't matter where I do
You have
it."
to leave Tommy on the streets, on the mean streets.
And we
no.
have some amazing auction items. We got our hands on a Blue Dog print that it's a new print. It's 500 prints only, and we have print 101. So we are really excited.
Well, this is fantastic. And Christine, real quick, with about 30 seconds left, come on, one more plug for CASA.
Well, I mean, if you want to do something that will not only reward a child but also reward yourself, it's something to really look into. We tell people, come for our info sessions. We don't necessarily start you off in the middle of training or something. Come in, talk to us, and have your questions answered before you even commit to it. Once you do commit to it, it's as easy as putting in an application. Our trainer gets a hold of you, and we have 3 to 4 trainings a year. And that's what we do.
And I can tell you real quick, I'd probably qualify because I've been answering hurricane phone calls for 4
Oh,
years.
yes, you have.
So all I would have to do is do it. But look, I appreciate it. We're running out of time here, and it's a great event, August 11th, 6:30 to 9:30 here at HTV. And
Tickets at CASAofTerrebonne.org.
there you go. Or send them a good check. There you go.
There you
We'll
go.
get it started.
We'll always do that.
We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more. Go CASA.
Thank you, Martin.
Thank-